So a city councilor from Lynn is in New Orleans right now. He was planning on attending the Sugar Bowl tonight, which, as we said, is now postponed 24 hours. Boston 25 News reporter Jim Morelli live for us tonight. So, Jim, he was on Bourbon Street right before this deadly attack.
He sure was, Carrie. Lynn City Councilor Fred Hogan was there late last night on Bourbon Street, but at some point, something told him it was time for he and his buddies to go home. Home in this case meant to a hotel nearby, and he had no inkling at that point that the celebration he had just left would turn into so much carnage.
Definitely random and definitely awful.
And definitely a narrow escape for Lynn City Councilor Fred Hogan, who was on Bourbon Street New Year's night just before a deadly pickup attack.
We just said, hey, let's go home. Let's get something to eat and go home, and we did that.
That was about 2:30 in the morning, half an hour before police say 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar drove his vehicle into crowds of revelers, killing at least 10 and injuring many others. Hogan is not surprised the carnage was so high.
The streets were person to person packed, and after New Year's went off, more people took to the streets because a lot of them were inside the establishments.
The reason so many people flocked to New Orleans for New Year's, the Sugar Bowl football game between Notre Dame and UGA now postponed for 24 hours. Hogan and friends came to cheer on Lynn native Jonel Aguero, a former St. John's Prep standout and now a defensive back for the Georgia Bulldogs.
So the police are down, probably a couple blocks down. All the streets are blocked off.
From his room on the 17th floor of the Sheraton Hotel on Canal Street, Hogan showed us the scene 10 hours later, with law enforcement continuing to investigate a crime scene that extends for blocks. One likely area of police inquiry, Bourbon Street's barriers. Did they look adequate to you if you saw them?
They were like plastic barriers, not like concrete jersey barriers.
But Hogan says the police presence was huge all night.
There was enough officers on scene last night that I know they intervened as quick as they could.
In fact, police fatally shot Dean Jabbar when he turned a gun on them. As for the Sugar Bowl, it will go on tomorrow. The festive spirit understandably dampened.
You know, people know what happened.
What they don't know, what they may never know, is why. And Hogan said that the Bourbon Street crowd encompassed all ages and that even though they were literally shoulder to shoulder, he saw no evidence of crowd-related trouble, and he remains baffled that this pickup truck could have gone into that crowd. Jim Morelli for your local station, Boston 25 News.